It is Brady Oliveira's world, and the rest of us were just living in it. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers wrap up the 2023 regular season with a decisive 36-13 victory in Calgary against the Stampeders. Now a playoff bye ahead of the West Division final. It will be at the Madhouse on Matheson, IG Field, on November 11th. That Jets game has been bumped. It's going to be a Super Sports Saturday in Southern Manitoba. Can't wait for that. We will get you set, well, not only with a pregame show ahead of that game, but here on Game Day After Dark, Winnipeg's postgame show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Good to see everybody in the live chat. Let's bring in the man, the myth, the true legend, Zach Schnitzer, Winnipeg Blue Bombers super fan. He bleeds blue and gold. I breathe blue and gold. So let's get into it. One final time this regular season, Schnitzy. How you feeling after a decisive win? I would say maybe a moment or two amongst fans of anxiety, nervousness creeping in that game.
Well, yeah, I thought the bonfire burning point would be that Cole Tucker touchdown where he eluded a couple tacklers and Calgary takes the lead after doing nothing in the first half. Jake Mayer was garbage in the first half. What was he? 2 of 8 for 42 yards. I mean, my goodness, missing guys left and right. Then Calgary takes the lead. And I know this is basically, preseason or postseason, not postseason, preseason
It's a
game.
tune-up.
Doesn't
It's a
matter.
tune-up, right? Just like
It's
the
a
preseason. Yeah.
sure, sure. A post preseason. I don't know what you want to call it. It doesn't really matter, but you still want to win the game, right? You still want to win the game, especially when you were dominating time of possession. I think we had 65 offensive plays to their 35 or something, 62 to 35. It's crazy. But then that catch by Rashid Bailey, Sheed, Flight 88. I love it. I love it. How about Dru Brown? Downtown Dru Brown. Like, look at this guy. Dru Brown is not going to be with the Bombers next year.
Ugh, we'll get into that,
Oh
as
my
well
God.
as all of our usual segments here on Game Day After Dark. Walby's Warrior, Westwood's Wide to the Right. We will have our Bonfire Burning Point, the Happy Honker Award. We'll hand out our game balls. I want to talk about Brady Oliveira against Chad Kelly, which, I mean, for my dollar, I would put a lot down on those two players emerging from the East and West Division, respectively.
Yeah.
We'll get a look at a little bit more of the stats and maybe more importantly, talk about the strategy the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will employ going into this playoff bye and into the West Division final against either the BC Lions or the Calgary Stampeders. They'll play in the West Division semi in 1 week's time, Saturday. So eight days time, whatever it may be. Also want to talk about Dakota Prukop and Dru Brown, as you mentioned. Dru Brown's contract expiring this coming off season, or is he at least is set to expire? Will he re-sign with Winnipeg? Will he get a Brinks truck backed up to his condominium apartment rental house here in Winnipeg? Who knows? Could happen. I think it will. We'll talk about all of that as well as your questions and comments on the Bonfire Hotline, 204-816-TIPS, 816-8477. Standard message rates apply, all that good stuff. Hit the comments right now, guys. Would love to hear your thoughts on the game. And first and foremost, Schnitzy, I know you've done it already. Hit the thumbs up. Real easy to do. And if you haven't signed up for YouTube, that's also super, super easy to do. Sign in, create an account, get a Gmail, or I think you use your Hotmail or whatever. Go ahead and do
Hotmail,
that.
no, DB,
Oh yeah.
no.
Oh yeah.
You're anti-Hotmail.
I am. I'm trying
It's
to,
not Hotmail.
I'm trying to, you know, ease my hate on Hotmail. Okay.
Yeah.
Cause my good buddy, Mitch, who's watching right now. What's going on, Mitch?
Hey,
Uh,
Mitch.
cousin Mitch. He's still got a Hotmail. He's still rocking it.
Does he actually?
He's older than me by a week, but yeah, he's still got it.
To call it
Um,
cold mail. Like, who has Hotmail anymore? Like, I have a
Chili.
Hotmail. I haven't looked at it in 15 years. I bet you I probably missed out on millions of dollars of opportunities, job opportunities, or people just giving me money. And I just walked away from Hotmail,
Yeah,
losing it.
You didn't have like a Nigerian prince offering you $46 million USD?
Just for nothing, just if
Just
I married him and
no, all you got to
uh,
do is send him your account number, right? That's all you got to do. Yeah, and
yeah, all
hit
right,
this
my
link.
social insurance number.
Hit this link. They'll set you up. Okay, so I mean, this game 36-13, Bombers win, as you see on your screen. 14-4 to finish the regular season. A good season overall for Winnipeg. The losses this year, I don't think. There's the one glaring one that people will be talking about going into the West semifinal as well as potentially the West final, and that's that 30-6 loss at home back week 3, June 22nd, to drop the Bombers to 2-1 on the season. They then lost in overtime. The crumback that nobody
Yes,
else, Zach Schnitzer coined the
yes, I
crumback.
did.
That was a 31-28 loss. They then ripped off a whole pile of wins in a row before losing 2 of 3, and that was the Labor Day Classic in
Yeah,
overtime, 30-32 to the playoffless, head coachless
yeah,
now Saskatchewan Roughriders, and then a loss 2 weeks later in Hamilton, 29-23 to the Ticats, but then finishing strong with 4 straight wins, including tonight's win in Calgary. Dru Brown, look, for those Bonfire Starter OGs,
you've been talking about it. You
because
like I'll say it for
you
you
knew about it a
because
long time ago.
you're a
You,
modest. You're a modest man. You have been
Sometimes.
talking up Dru Brown forever. Even before you became a Ticats bandwagon fan,
Whoa,
you've been
whoa,
talking up Dru
whoa.
Brown. You love some Dru Brown. You said he's going to be a starter in this league for a long time, Darren, for a couple of years at least, and it's going to happen. I mean, you're absolutely, you nailed it.
It's
It's
been
going
about a
to
year and a
happen.
half. Been about a year and a half.
It's going to
I've been
happen.
saying
It's
that.
just a question of which team. We'll talk about it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Brown was 76% passing, 278 yards. Like he nearly threw for 300 and he didn't even play every snap. Dakota Prukop was in there for at least 8 pass plays and 9 of his own rush plays, but then some others where he handed the ball off as well. So Dru Brown nearly hits 300 yards, 2 touchdowns,
Yeah.
no interceptions. I tweeted this just a little while ago, Schnitzy, and that is Dru Brown's numbers for the 2023 season. He was 62 of 89 passing. That's just under 70%. Okay. 983 yards, 9 touchdowns, no picks. Ran for about 30 yards on a handful of broken play carries, that sort of thing. 70%, just under 1,000 yards. And the guy didn't like play a ton of games. He had a couple starts, including this one in Calgary, but like really games that he's appeared in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what? 4 games where he threw more than 2 passes. And
Yeah.
he threw for 1,000 yards, no
Yeah.
picks.
No picks, 9 touchdowns.
Like you're telling me in the CFL, a quarterback league, that somebody, frankly, I think it'll be 2 or 3 teams, will definitely offer Dru Brown a multi 6-figure deal.
Yeah.
By multi 6-figure, of course, I don't mean $1 million, multi plus 6-figure. Like, I mean, he is going to get offered $300,000, $400,000.
Yeah.
It's going to
Totally.
happen. And look, if Nick Arbuckle can get the money he got in his last deal, if Cody Fajardo continues to get that starter money, if Dane Evans is getting paid a lot of money to be a backup, and BC can afford it because they're not particularly paying Vernon Adams Jr. a lot of money, so that's kind of offset. Somebody is going to pay Dru Brown, and I can't imagine Winnipeg can compete with that, especially if they're paying Rashid Bailey and Dembski and Oliveira. I mean, these guys are under contract, but Willie Jefferson and all of them.
Shown.
Yeah,
Shown is
shown.
gonna get paid. Jeff
You know,
Code. I
you
mean,
know who else is going to get paid? Evan Holm is going to get
yeah.
paid. That guy's going to be an
Yeah.
all-star,
Yeah.
league-wide all-star at halfback.
Look,
But where
DB,
do you see him? Where do you see him going, Schnitzy?
I was just gonna say, You take away Chad Kelly in Toronto, who's probably going to win the M.O.P. Not that he should,
Now I
but
want to debate that here.
he will. I bet you he'll win it. But we
Well,
can talk
we're
about
going to
that
talk about
later.
that next. Yes.
But dude, aside from Chad Kelly and the Toronto Argonauts, you name a team that wouldn't take Dru Brown right now. Like, who's
Well,
not going
BC.
to maybe be like I would take Dru Brown over Vernon Adams based on what I've seen. He is so poised in the pocket.
Look,
He's I
yeah, no,
honestly,
I
he is
just
poised. He throws a nice ball. He lets his receivers go and make. He throws on the run. He can run the ball. He throws it good deep. He throws a good short game. Like he's
look
got all the tools.
the BC Lions are a good football team, and it's because of Vernon Adams Jr. that they're a good football team. Is he the most
I don't know
consistent
about that.
quarterback? No, but do we like at least you know what you have, right? Like the evil you know sort of thing. That's the old cliche, but
Well, he sure didn't look good in the last game against Calgary. In the first half, he
you,
got pulled. He was
you can't
garbage.
tell me Dru Brown is the third best quarterback in the CFL. That's not fair.
Well, yeah, I think he might be Darren. Like I think he might be. I can't say for sure.
I'll stop short of that, but would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, everybody. Great to see Jason and Corey and Jake Slobodian. Good to see you. Haven't seen you there either. Comet and Waka Waka. Thanks for the love in the comments, not just in the live chat, but in the comments on the last couple videos. Appreciate you, Fozzie Bear. Waka Waka. Good to see you. Waiters, yeah, Mitch is there, and James and Phyllis and of course, Sandy, I know you're there. You're always giving us love. Appreciate you and love you too. Turk and Friesen. Hey, thanks for everybody. Sasha, Friesen, people that have been given the super chats. Really appreciate that. Walby says thank you for the birthday drinks.
Yeah,
I
but
think,
Darren,
yeah, I
Darren,
think,
let me
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah,
let me go here.
I'm fired up. I'm
Vernon
fired up.
Adams, yeah, they're not gonna. Vernon Adams is not going anywhere. But I would honestly, if I was starting a team and I couldn't take Zach Collaros or Chad Kelly, I'd take Dru Brown. If I was starting a team and I needed a quarterback, so look at Edmonton. You've got Trey Ford. Well, he hasn't proven himself as a passer. I think Dru Brown has proven himself more than Trey Ford. Jake Mayer, I just want to say it right now. I think Jake Mayer is garbage. I know that's harsh, but 2 of 8 for 42 yards. You're trying to tune up for the playoffs. You got a big road playoff game against BC next week. 2 of 8 for 42 yards. He was missing guys. I don't care about the conditions. The conditions didn't seem to bother Dru Brown.
And Tommy
Mayer
Stevens
was
ain't
missing
gonna be
guys
the
left and right.
Tommy
Tommy
Stevens ain't gonna be
Stevens
the
can't throw the football even. Like I could
he's
probably
not going to be the guy in Calgary.
no.
That's not happening. Yeah.
But I think Calgary would be smart to take a look at Dru Brown. Saskatchewan, I'm like they've got Trevor Harris, but Trevor Harris, he can play well, but um, you kind of know what you're going to get with Trevor Harris.
A lot of
He's
yards when
a
healthy.
lot of yards, but not a lot of touchdowns, not a lot of wins potentially. And then you go to the East Division. Cody Fajardo, are you kidding me? I would take Dru Brown over Cody Fajardo, and Cody Fajardo has 13 touchdowns and 12 picks or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
give me a break. Ottawa, Jeremiah Masoli can't stay healthy. Dustin Crum does not scare anybody. I know he's had a couple of good games here and there. He can run the ball, but he can't pass the ball like you need to pass in the CFL. And then Hamilton, I don't know what you have. And I think, like you've said before, Taylor Powell is probably the best one of the bunch.
Yeah.
But Dru Brown, I'd take over Taylor Powell too. So I don't know, man. Like maybe I'm jumping on the bandwagon, but no, I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. Like you built the bandwagon. You jumped on it. You're
I just put
driving the
I just
bandwagon.
put wheels on it, man. I
You
just
put
started
we
pushing it down the
like
road.
Dru Brown, like 278 yards and 2 touchdowns, 13 completions. Like what's that? 15 yards of completion? Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
158.3 like perfect efficiency rating.
And a
Like
large of 68.
a large. And that pass to now I know Bailey made a play on it, right? But that was a tight window.
Mm-hmm. It
I
was.
think I think Dru Brown's going to get paid, and I think 7 CFL teams would be stupid not to look at him very, very carefully.
Yeah. Uh, I hear you. I'll walk through scenarios. Okay. BC. It's not going to be BC.
No,
because
it's not going to be BC.
they're going to stick with what's working, right? And they've got two capable quarterbacks there, and Vernon Adams Jr. frankly is still, but I would say was a favorite for West Division MOP up until recently, and he's still in the conversation. Okay, I don't think he'll beat Brady, but he is in that conversation. Um, in Calgary, yes, absolutely. Dru Brown is an option to go there. And I know that's Zach, where you feel he will end up.
I'm not sure
Edmund,
if he will. I'm just saying they were playing them, and then it's just like
yep.
it was a
No, I
talking point.
mean, come on. Jake Mayer's struggled now for a year and a half. He got pulled in
Yeah,
the playoffs last year. We'll see how he does. Look, playoffs erase everything, right? If he's able to go into BC and knock the socks off the BC Lions and punch a ticket to the West Final, if he's able to do something in the West Final, things can change quickly in that sense.
yeah.
Memories are short. However, um, yeah, so option in Calgary. Edmonton, it looks like it's Trey Ford's team. And that said, Chris Jones has done stranger things. We know he likes his Americans. So maybe that's a possibility. Trey Ford's not getting paid a lot of money. You could afford to pay Dru Brown a stack for a year or two, because it would be a 3-year rookie deal for Trey Ford. Well, yeah, so that would mean he's actually only got 1 year left. So you could make that decision after a year on the direction you want to go. Saskatchewan, they have a general manager, they have Trevor Harris, they have Mason Fine, they have Jake Dolagala. They don't have a head coach. Now, a head coach can come in and say, I want this guy. It's possible. I don't think it's a likelihood. Winnipeg, obviously, they're paying the best quarterback in the CFL. And I just don't know if they can afford Zach Collaros and Dru Brown.
He's gone.
In Ottawa, Dustin Crum is their most outstanding rookie nominee. However, he was not able to help what did they lose? 10 of their final 12 games. They're probably going to have a new head coach. I'm not sure. Bobby Dice, I talked about it a few weeks ago. I think I would give him another year, because it was a pretty tumultuous year losing Jeremiah Masoli so early. I thought Jeremiah Masoli was going to be the CFL passing leader in 2023. I thought he was going to be an M.O.P candidate. So again, possible, but I don't know if it's a likelihood Dru Brown would end up in Ottawa. Hamilton, I don't see that happening either, just because of the potential Taylor Powell has shown. And I mean, Bo could be back next year even. So that's a busy quarterback room as well, let alone Matthew Schultz. Montreal, they have Cody Fajardo. I see Montreal as a possibility.
Yeah.
And Toronto, no, I don't think Toronto is going to be the spot. Chad Kelly is their present and future. So did I miss anybody? I don't think so.
No, I think you got everybody.
Yeah. So, I mean, could be Calgary, could be Sask, could be Ottawa, could be Montreal. We'll see. But somebody is going to pay Dru Brown. He might even shock everybody and sign somewhere that's not what we expect. Who knows? Maybe he'll get an NFL look.
How old is he? He's 26?
Oh, he's pretty young. Give me a sec here.
Where's Gregory? Gregory would know.
Gregory would know. He's
Friesen,
26.
do you know?
Yeah. So he's
Look it
26,
up.
and he turns 27 in March.
He's pretty young.
So he would be 27 years old going into training camp in the NFL. I don't see that happening.
If I were the Chicago Bears, I'd look at him. Like, who do they have at quarterback? Honest to God, they had some random guy last game from Division II. Like, why not take Dru Brown?
I like
Dru
this
Brown
question.
can play, baby. Dru
like this
Brown
question.
can play
Yes,
and pray. Maybe he prays too. I don't know.
I've been cutting you off a lot tonight, Zach. I'm sorry.
No, I've been cutting you a lot.
I'll cut you
off
off
a lot. I've been cutting you off a lot.
As long as you're not doing it on the streets, man. Drive safe. Good gracious. Out there.
Oh, yeah. No, seriously. I'm sure I'm like many Winnipeggers where even though I have my winter tires on, thugonomics.
I don't know what that means.
I like it though.
Yeah.
Did you have like a Winnipeg winter driving moment today where you were like stopping casually and you're like, oh wait, I'm slipping. It's icy out there. Holy.
I had a Winnipeg onset of winter driving moment doing a U-turn on Portage Avenue today. It
Ooh,
was a legal U-turn.
ballsy,
Yeah, it was a legal U-turn.
ballsy.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, it's horrible outside. I mean, could be worse. Could be
it could be
Calgary.
way worse. Yeah,
But
how about
everybody be
it,
safe. Drive
the
safe.
snow? The snow stopped though. It started and then it stopped.
Right. Yeah. Unlike the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they do not stop. Really
No,
impressive the way they were in second halves this season. Incredible strength of them is the way that, it doesn't matter who's in the game. It doesn't matter what the score is. They could be way up, way down. That 12 play drive that went 80 plus yards late in the game, like, Suter and Dusty mentioned it on the broadcast. Like, oh, there you go again. Once again, it's another clock draining drive, like just absolutely dominant. Uh, don't do that. Don't do that.
I won't do it.
Uh, so Dakota Prukop did get a
uh,
little bit of work today, Schnitzy. Um,
yeah,
and I think that was okay. I had a quick back and forth with Doug Brown on Twitter about it because he's like, and he's right. I didn't disagree with him, but just kind of had that conversation. He said, I don't think Dakota Prukop is going to be any sort of passing threat. And I agree, but the threat of a pass is legit. And the Bombers love to run short yardage, love to run that catch you off guard, 1st and 10 after a short yardage Dakota Prukop, dive play. And I know it bit them in the ass in the Grey Cup. Okay. He
sure
was
did.
0-2 and he threw that pick in the fourth quarter that, Toronto didn't score off of, but it came right after an Argos score that brought them within a one score game at that point when Prukop threw that pick. It changed it changed uh, the, the
The
landscape of that
complexion
game,
of the
the
game, big
complexion.
time.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Yeah. Your
Not that I
complexion.
have a good complexion. My
Well,
daughter's
no,
like,
I want to
"Daddy,
talk
your
about,
face is full of red dots." I'm like,
no,
"They're
it's not.
zits, darling."
You are at the mercy of a mediocre webcam, and that is not fair.
Well, it is fair because it's my webcam and I could
Yeah, I
replace it.
know, but we'll get you straightened out. We'll get you
Yeah.
straightened out. Walby's Warrior, Westwood's wide to the right, Bonfire Burning Point, Happy Honker, Game Balls. Hit up the live chat, everybody. I want to know who you like for each of these. So, Schnitzy, let's get into our weekly special segments. Walby's Warrior tonight, the man, the player, or even the coach that put it all on the line and was deserving of 63's namesake tonight.
Well, you know what? For the first time this year, I'm gonna give my Walby's Warrior to a special teams player, and that's Sergio Castillo, Darren. He was 5 for 5 in really difficult, inclement weather, including his first field goal, which was a 51 yarder when that snow was really coming down. You saw Paredes miss an easy one and Castillo didn't. He looked like a vintage Grey Cup Castillo from 2001,
He was
where
good.
he should have been the most outstanding player of that Grey Cup. He
Mm-hmm.
was unbelievable tonight. He hit all his extra points, 5 for 5, including a large of 51 yards right off the bat to set the tone.
Large.
I loved what Castillo did, and just confident and poised and effective. Loved
Yep.
it.
Uh, I like it. I like that. That's a good pick for your Walby's Warrior tonight. My Walby's Warrior, I am going to go with Rashid Bailey for
Yeah.
the extra effort on top of the extra effort in being so sharp to know that that ball was going to change direction. He saw those two Calgary Stampeders defenders converge on the ball. He identified it, knew that the ball was going to go a different direction. When you're a receiver in that spot, there's little to nothing you can do because both of those defenders are in front of you and they're in front of him by a good amount, a yard or two, right? There's nothing that he can do other than, well, okay, if they pick it off, I better track him down and tackle him. But he stayed sharp. He stayed really mindful of where the ball could go, made the reception, turned upfield, broke tackles, ran into his own guy, I think, right? I think he ran over Rafi Alston. Is it Rafi Alston? And then lurched for the touchdown. Huge effort. The
Hmm.
guy is always putting it all on the line. Looked to get a little bit snagged up tonight. Grabbed his right buttocks, hamstring area.
Yeah, that was concerning.
Yeah, but he's my Walby's warrior. You hope that he's okay. I'll say this about the injury, Zach, is sometimes players, pull a hamstring, strain a hamstring, strain a muscle, whatever, and oh, hamstring injury, it's going to be a month, could be 3, 6 weeks, sometimes longer. It You never ever know how bad it is until you know how bad it is. So it would be pure speculation right now to say he'll be good to go for the West Final. It would be pure speculation right now to say he is going to miss a significant period of time. But when he suffered that and you saw the look on his face, I didn't see complete despair. I did see, that it's like, holy crap, I pulled something, right? Or I hurt something. So fingers crossed, hoping for the best for Rasheed Bailey. He has some time to rest up. We're looking at 14 days until the West Final on Saturday, November 11th.
Isn't it crazy that Rasheed Bailey is like our number 4 receiver? Like, how deep are you when Rasheed Bailey is your number 4 receiver? It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Like,
It
did
is
you see
crazy.
what he did on that play?
Mm-hmm.
That
Let
was
alone the
that was
blocking he does.
nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Off the tip drill, he catches it. Like you
Dog.
said, stays mindful and catches the ball and then breaks tackles left and right. Like,
Dog.
what an unbelievable catch
It's what the
and
kids
and run.
call a dog.
A dog. A
He is an
dog.
absolute dog. There is his stat line tonight: 2 catches on 3 targets, 81 yards, 68 being his large
Is
tonight,
large.
and pulled in that touchdown as well. How
Yeah.
about 3 second down conversions for Drew Wolotarski playing
Yeah.
the slot back spot tonight?
He's good in the slot.
Yes, he's a dang good player. I really wonder, if Brendan O'Leary Orange, who I'll just say it now. I'll give him my Happy Honker award because scores
Yeah, I
his
was gonna
first
say.
touchdown. Scores his first
Yeah.
touchdown. You were gonna say, don't forget the horn, DB.
Yeah, like
Scor-
where's the horn?
Scores
You
his
can't
first
do it without the
touchdown,
horn.
but then he has that slip in the end zone to kind of,
I know.
it was a funny moment. That was my Happy Honker tonight. I'll let you think about yours while I finish my thought on Drew Wolotarski. Uh, 71 yards receiving and playing a different position. He can play pretty much everywhere. Is the future Brendan O'Leary Orange at the Z receiver spot, and then Wolotarski and Dembski in the slot with 3 Canadian receivers starting for the Blue Bombers?
RCAF Winnipeg, Canadian Air Force. So is that what you're calling for, DB?
What
Interesting.
don't I? What am I missing?
No, you're not missing anything. I'm saying that's pretty cool to call for 3 Canadian receivers. Canadian Air Force.
Oh, I got you now.
Yeah, dude, like woo, woo, hair
I
trim.
got you now. I got you now. Uh, Yeah, Gregory Liverpool mentioning the Navy SEAL got a catch for 8
That was
yards.
awesome.
He was my vote for most outstanding rookie. Gave Jam Sheehan my secondary vote. Um, do you got a happy honker, Schnitzy?
Well, I got one off the board a little bit here. There in the first half, Jake Mayer got sacked by Tanner Schmeckel. He got schmeckled.
You like that?
And then one of our listeners, his name is Reed Cote, he found me on Facebook and said, Zach, you know what schmeckel means in Yiddish, which is, of course, the European Jewish language, or one of them.
Hmm.
And schmeckel, let's just say it's a diminutive term, a diminutive of schmuck. And if you know what schmuck means, then you know what schmeckel means. And you know how happy that made me. And I didn't mean it that way, but anyway, I love
I
it.
I've
Reed
been
Cote,
I've been
I
called that.
appreciate you.
I've
Yeah,
been called that.
I haven't called you that though. I wouldn't
You
say.
haven't, and you've never been called that, but I've been called
I've never. Oh, my dad called me a schmuck all the time. Never a
that.
schmeckle. He wasn't that mean, but yeah, schmeckle,
So Schmeckel is
schmeckled.
worse than Schmuck?
Well, yeah, because it's a diminutive of schmuck.
Okay.
So it's you're. I won't. You know what I won't say
Yeah.
more. This is.
Yeah.
I don't
We'll
want to
leave it
get
at
in trouble
we'll
here.
leave it there.
But
We'll leave it
anyway, I
there.
thought, I love that. I just love that from Reed, so shout out to you, buddy, and, that made my night. But I did appreciate how Schmeckel was in there. He feels like a family member of mine, Schnitzer, Schmeckel. We're probably from the same town in Russia way back in the day. Yeah, just love the Schmeckel. I just love, I hope Schmeckel stays in the lineup and he Schmeckels, Vernon Adams or Jake Mayer again in the Western Final.
You there's a Tanner, no, it's Tanner Schmeckel, and then you're obviously Zach Schnitzer, and then there is
Yeah.
a
Tom Schnitzler.
Tom Schnitzler.
Yeah.
Uh yes,
On Hamilton.
right. And I think he was with Saskatchewan before that. He's a former Saskatoon Hilltops fullback, playing now in the CFL. So I thought that was your guy.
Well, he's closer to me, but I like Schmeckel now better. Schmeckel's my guy. He plays for my team. I just love the Schmeckel.
Love it. Yeah, and a
But
big hit, big play
a
tonight.
big hit for a diminutive term, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Um, I I really have something to say about Brady Oliveira and Chad Kelly. Okay,
Okay, let's
and
go.
well,
Or do you want to wait?
we'll get into Westwood's wide to the right, the
All
bonfire
right.
burning
All
point, the
right.
game balls a little bit later. And you guys can hit the live chat right now after you hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't. Like, good gracious, or at least even if you're watching, but if you're listening, subscribe on your podcast app as well. You can find us Bonfire Sports Winnipeg. Search those terms, bonfiresports.ca. How easy is that? You'll find a link to your favorite podcast app and really everything else there as well. Oh, Gerald Wilson. I work with Tanner Schmeckel's brother.
No
So it's
way.
the,
Schmeckel Jr.,
well,
little
Schmecker,
brother?
Schmecker,
That'd be double
Schmecker the second.
diminutive.
Yeah. Um, okay. The CFL's Most Outstanding Player Award is awarded as such. Every market, there are 4 media voters and the head coach. That's 5 votes in each market. They nominate one player in each of those MO categories. Okay. I don't need to go through them, but M.O.P, Most Outstanding Canadian, Rookie, Special Teams Player, Offensive Line, Defensive Player, etc. Okay. I think that was all of them.
You just
Anyway,
named all of them.
yeah, I won't name all of them, but here they all are.
Here they
Yeah,
are.
that's typical of me. There's me being a schmuckle. Schmuckle? No.
Schmeckle. You're a
Schmeckle.
schmeckle. No,
Yeah.
schmuckle. I don't know what a schmuckle is.
It's just I'm just a schmuck. Anyway, so one nominee in each of those categories from each team. The ballot arrived in my email inbox today for the second round of voting, and that is West Division nominees in each of those categories. We can only select players that were nominated out of their team. So, for example, I cannot nominate um, Cam Judge as most outstanding um, player because Reggie Begelton was the most outstanding player nominee for the Calgary Stampeders. Cam Judge, I can only vote him as most outstanding Canadian because that's what he was nominated for with the Calgary Stampeders. I won't be voting for him because of the season Brady Oliveira had that Matthew Betts had in BC. But that's how it works. So I will send in my ballot. Deadline is Sunday night for West Division MO Awards and West Division All Stars. Okay. Same thing happens in the East. Eastern voters, 4 media members in each market, plus the head coach of each East Division team, they will all vote on most outstanding players in each of those categories for the East Division and East Division All-Stars. Okay. Then the next round of voting is for the league awards, the most outstanding player in the CFL. And the only players we can choose are the ones that emerge through that second round from the East and from the West. So in the West, most outstanding player, it's going to come down to Brady Oliveira and Vernon Adams Jr. And I am of firm belief that Vernon Adams Jr. will not edge out Brady Oliveira in the West. Okay. Matthew Betts is going to put up a real fight against Brady Oliveira for most outstanding Canadian. It's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out. But West Division voters vote on that. Coming out of the East, no doubt it's going to be Chad Kelly. Okay. And I mean, East Division, most outstanding Canadian, it could be a couple different guys. Marc-Antoine Dequoy, safety of the Montreal Alouettes, is the one that's jumping out to me right now. Either way, when it comes down to it, Schnitzy, and I want everybody's opinion on this as well. What is this award for? If it's for most valuable player, then call it most valuable player. It is, however, right now, and you can debate till the cows come home, and we will, as it should, the format of voting for awards. I think it needs to change. However, this season, you have Chad Kelly, who had a great year with the Toronto Argonauts, and you have Brady Oliveira, who had an outstanding year. Maybe I should use a different adjective. Had a excellent year for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. 1,500 yards rushing, 2,000 scrimmage yards, only been done once before by a Canadian. And that, of course, is John Cornish. This is the most outstanding player award for play in 2023. I don't know how you put a quarterback that didn't reach all-time marks or that neighborhood of all-time marks, passing yards, touchdowns, interceptions. I understand the Toronto Argonauts have an opportunity on Saturday to tie the most wins in regular season CFL history. And that probably should be accounted as well. But if you're talking about the most outstanding player in a season in 2023, I don't know how you don't vote for Brady Oliveira. He was the most outstanding player in the CFL. And the final point I'll have for my argument here, Schnitzy, is if the Winnipeg voters, out of everybody in the league, who do you think is going to have more appreciation and recognition of Zach Collaros' greatness than those of us here in Winnipeg? If we here in Winnipeg believe Brady Oliveira had a more outstanding 2023 than Zach Collaros, whose numbers this year on par with what he did last year when he won his second straight M.O.P. in the CFL. If we vote that way, how can anybody else firmly not consider and say, no, he's a running back, I'm going with the quarterback? You have to take all of these things I've laid out into consideration. I think, my opinion, Brady Oliveira is the M.O.P. in the CFL in 2023. If it was Zach Collaros versus Chad Kelly, then you could probably have a good debate about that. I still think it would probably be Collaros. You can call me a Western bias, a Bombers bias, a Winnipeg voter bias, all you want. That's fine. It's not how I try to approach my job at all. But for my dollar, good gracious, I don't know how you don't give it to Brady in 2023. Outstanding.
You make a good argument, buddy, and I am afraid that Chad Kelly's just going to get it because the Argos are going to probably get 16 wins, and he's the sexy pick. He's swag Kelly. He has some good stats. I mean, his stats aren't even as good as Zach Collaris's though. Like his
Hmm.
stats are not as good as Zach Collaris, and he plays in the East Division. And I know the East had a winning record against the West this year, but Toronto played Ottawa 4 times or three, at least 3 times, maybe
Yeah,
four. I don't
I'd
know.
have to look that up.
They played Hamilton, who wasn't very good at the beginning of the year. They played him 4 times. They played Montreal a bunch.
Yep.
Montreal's pretty good, but Montreal's not BC,
No.
right?
Yep.
Like they play in a crap division. Let's be honest.
And they're just not consistent.
They're not consistent. And yeah, Chad Kelly's played well. Like he has really good stats. He's an excellent quarterback. But I think Collaris beats out Kelly. So Collaris doesn't even win the M.O.P. of the Bombers.
And that's my point. If we
Right.
here in Winnipeg, who have I would say the sharpest eye on the type of player Zach Collaris is and the type of player Brady Oliveira is, and we collectively voted, and I mean collectively, it was not unanimous. Zach Collaris did receive votes, or somebody other than Brady Oliveira received votes. Very presumably, like, I'm pretty confident to presume that it was Zach Collaris that got the other votes. But if Brady collectively was the selection in Winnipeg, I don't know how you don't say, wow, if you're from the outside looking in, wow, how sorry. The perspective on the outside looking in is, wow, I have to look at this closer, instead of just saying, I'm taking the quarterback on the team that won 16 games.
And did they win 16 games because of Chad Kelly? If you take Chad Kelly, if you have Cameron Dukes playing in quarterback for the Argos, how many games? I still think they win double-digit games. They have a stacked defense. They have a stacked defensive line. As you've said, their offensive line is maybe the best in the
It's
CFL.
crazy good. It's
I'm just
crazy
laughing at
good.
Friesen.
Oh,
Jack,
goodness.
jackass. Yeah. I I mean I'm still not sure whether Kolaris shouldn't have been the MOP of the Bombers. I think he had as good almost as good stats as he did last year, and last year he was the MOP of the Bombers. He
Mhm.
plays the most difficult position in sports, but I like my heart says Brady, my head says maybe it should have been Zach. His yards per attempt were crazy good. He had the most touchdown drives, the most 30 plus yard completions, the most touchdowns Zach did.
Yep.
Efficiency was phenomenal. Um, but he also turned the ball over a bunch. A few pick sixes.
Yep.
Um, he was a little bit uncharacteristic with uncareful. Maybe not as careful with the football as he needed to be. And Brady broke records
Yep.
for Canadian player, and he was just a monster. Like he was a monster. And then that, as much as the quarterback is the most important position in sports, when you have a team like the Bombers, who MO is to control the clock and punish you on the ground and just wear you down, Brady is a huge part of our offense. I know that's pithy to say, but like the Bombers do a ball control style running offense, hit you in the mouth, pound the ball, pound the rock, and Brady is the edge of that spear, and he sliced people open,
And that's a great
gutted
point
other
by you.
teams.
That is a great point by you. It's not like Brady Oliveira hit 1,500 yards rushing because he tore off a handful of 70-yard carries.
Yeah,
Like, it's, I was going to make an NFL comparison, but I don't need to. Um, you know, his yards were earned.
yeah,
Watch the way he finishes runs. And I mean, we saw even Johnny Augustine tonight do a lot of that. Brady powers. Brady gained, like, look, he's got a good O line, and yes, they open up holes for him, and sometimes those are gaping holes that he's able to kind of just trot through for a first down or for a touchdown, like he did last week. His first touchdown run was just like Red Sea parted and he was strolling. Um, but when that's not the case, Brady picks up those yards and those add up through a season. He stayed healthy. He was available. He was consistent. He was reliable. And he was dangerous. Whether it was early in a game or late in a game, you put the ball in Brady Oliveira's belly and you get Brady bully ball. And we've been talking about that for months now. Brady bully ball.
Mhm.
They're just pushing guys around. You can't stop it. To me, uh, that is that is the ultimate compliment of a guy that's dominant at times. But like it's your boy Bruce says, who cares about all the awards? Just win the cup. That I think
Fair
definitely
point.
resonates. And Bombers 1985 laying it out. These are your well, you know what? Bombers 85 is actually incorrect. Jeff Hamilton of the Winnipeg Free Press is the president of the Football Reporters of Canada. He didn't vote this year because the president often is the tiebreak. So it was those four individuals you see there. I'll pull it up again. Myself, Derek Taylor, Ted Wyman of the Winnipeg Sun, and Taylor Allen of the Winnipeg Free Press. Taylor also voted for the Grey Cup awards. Most outstanding Canadian, most outstanding player in the Grey Cup last year. Covers the team incredibly well. Excellent professional, deserving of that vote. So it's the four of us in the media and then Mike O'Shea. Those are your five voters in Winnipeg. But ultimately, it comes down to, who's up on the stage 2 days before the Grey Cup. It's Friday night, Niagara Falls, Ontario. Oh, yes. That's where the awards will be this year. Whoever gets their picture taken with that iconic trophy the CFL has now for those awards. Nobody's going to give a crap when it comes to Sunday night and the 110th Grey Cup.
Yeah, it's cup or bust again when you have high expectations and a precedent of being a double digit win team, playoff team since 2016. Two of three cups. Yeah, it's cup or bust. I'm sorry.
Yep.
And that's what really matters. I mean, this award talk is interesting. It's nice. Um, and sometimes it can be fascinating, but of course, if you're a Bomber fan, all you care about is the cup. Um,
Jason
yeah.
Rempel, I'm sorry. Jason Rempel, you are a marketing maven. You have mentioned windshield ice scrapers and now mini bottles of Fireball whiskey for the West Final, branded with Bonfire Sports. Hit the hotline, 816 tips. Let's talk. Maybe we'll get some things going. Okay, Westwood's wide to the right. We're getting to the bonfire burning point. The happy honker we already did. Game balls we still need to get to, but let's get these under our belt for one final time this regular season, Schnitzy, and a
Mm,
14th time with a Blue Bombers victory. Do you have a
yeah,
Westwood wide to the
baby.
right? Something you didn't like?
I have actually two Westwood wide to the rights. My first Westwood, I know I am I have even allowed two of them, but I'm going to take two because hey, it's the end of the regular season. I got to empty out the gun and shoot all my bullets here. Um, Jake Mayer's first half was garbage. 2 of 8 for 42 yards. Are you kidding me? You're a professional quarterback. You're being outdueled by the backup. Yes, it's Dru Brown, but heck, he was even almost outdueled by Dakota Brewcop. And what was Calgary doing? Running the ball on 2nd and 7, 2nd and 10. I don't get their offense. And Jake Mayer just dinking and dunking like, yeah, he had a couple good long balls, but I I don't know how they let this let Bo Levi Mitchell go for this guy. It's fascinating to me. Maybe it looked like he had a high ceiling and Bo
Well,
was just
Schnitzy,
injured.
somebody did say that Bo was done.
I know, but
Oh,
I think
was
a
that
done
was that you?
I know who it was too, and he looks a lot like Schnitzy. He's his evil twin.
Just some
But
schmuck.
a done Bo Levi Mitchell is better than an undone who's undone Jake Mayer. Like
Yep.
anyway, that's my Westwood. But my other Westwood wide to the right.
Good. I'm glad you got two because I don't have one.
You don't have one. The amount of times ad nauseum that Glenn Suter talked about Micah Alway. Stop talking about Micah. They mentioned Micah. Like I know they had to fill the air with some interesting story, and it's like a meaningless game. This is a guy. Not only was it annoying how many times they talked about him, and yeah, he's now in the top three at tackles in a single season. That's great. I mean, your defense was on the field a lot, Calgary. But the other thing is, this is a dirty player. How many times has he been behind for dirty hits on quarterbacks this year? 3 or 4 times?
I think four. Yeah. Well, not even just on quarterbacks, but on
Other
players.
players.
Yeah,
Why are we
receivers. Yep.
celebrating this guy who is taking shots, unnecessary shots at other guys? It's
I'll
not like
play.
the CFL has a glut of players that are good. You can't be celebrating guys that are taking shots like that.
Yeah.
Wide to
No,
the right.
I don't disagree. I will say this. Micah Alway plays football like I remember when I played, right? And like I didn't play at any sort of elite level at all. But that's how they used to teach middle linebackers to hit. That's how they taught them.
Yeah.
And he still plays that same style. Does it get him in trouble sometimes? Yep. Does it get him fined? Clearly. Should he be playing that way? Probably not. But he does. And he's an effective player. I wouldn't say he's a dirty player. I wouldn't. I don't see those as egregious, dirty hits with intent. I see them as a real throwback style that, I mean, for better or worse, and people will argue either way, for better or worse, is no longer the norm in football. They're trying to clean the game up. They're trying to make it safer. It makes sense. People will argue either way. He just plays that old school style. And I don't think he's a dirty player, but I also don't, disagree with your sentiment, Schnitzy, of, the CFL is loaded with talented players. And I mean, if Cam Judge was on the field and Micah Alway wasn't, they probably would have been talking about Cam Judge. They still talked about Cam Judge. He was on the
Yeah.
sidelines, but most outstanding Canadian. Um, I think that's just the way, that's just the way the cookie crumbled today. I've called several dozen football games in my, amateur broadcasting career, or at least covering amateur football. Um, and I mean, you talk about the game, you talk about what's in front of you. And for Micah Alway, he did reach a level of tackles this season that puts him with JC Sherritt and Solomon Elamimian. They showed the graphic on there. So I understand, but I don't completely disagree with you either, Schnitzy.
Talked
Uh,
about him a lot.
yeah, they did.
A lot. I mean, you know, I get there weren't a ton of storylines here, but oh my god.
Yeah.
Mike,
We
oh, and couldn't even figure out was he in the top 4? Was he in the top 3? Like, go away, Alway. Come on. Stop talking about this guy.
well, and
The
another
Bombers kicked
reminder.
your butts.
Yeah, another reminder for those that don't know, Micah Alway was a Winnipeg Blue Bomber on
He
paper
was in 2020,
for
yeah.
2020.
That's
They didn't
right.
play any games.
I mean, you say he plays an old style that's they've moved away from better or worse, but I mean, like, I don't know. I kind of think about like, okay, people used to be able to smoke in restaurants and now they've moved away from that. Like it's dangerous. Is what he's doing, like if you take late hits or high hits, or those they're taking them out of the game for a reason,
Yep.
aren't they?
Yep.
Like it's dangerous.
Yep.
I mean, Biggie plays kind of a throwback style. He hits hard,
He
but he doesn't hit illegally.
he has. He's been penalized for that. And people will say, well, he shouldn't have been. What else is he supposed to do when he's diving over the pile to stop a quarterback sneak, if it's Tommy Stevens or Taylor Cornelius or whoever, 6'5" quarterback jumping over the pile at the goal line or on a, 2nd and 1 or 3rd and inches. What else are you supposed to do? But it's also been flagged and is, by the letter of the law, a penalty. So it's tough. I mean, that's why there's arguments on both sides of, that old school brand of football and those ways that football was played for decades and the direction it's headed now. Purists versus progressives, right? Traditionalists versus, those that are more focused on, safety, the longevity of the game, the safety of the game, the accessibility of the game for people to play at grassroots levels. All of that goes into it. So it's a conversation for a reason. Either way,
Yeah.
dare I pull one out of my pocket? It's been many, many months. I digress, Schnitzy.
You digress. Digressions abound.
Cheers. Game balls.
Okay.
Oh, no. Bonfire Burning Point. I mean, season's over. Postseason, preseason tune-up, pre-postseason tune-up.
Yeah, pre-postseason
Was
tune-up.
there
I like
was
that.
there a turning point?
Well, I think it
Pardon
was
me, a burning point.
a burning. I think it was the 68-yard incredible flight 88 touchdown by your Rashid Bailey, who's like, number 4 receiver on this team. It was a crazy catch. Tip drill. Unbelievable.
This is incorrect. Just saying.
What's this? Well,
Helmet to
say
helmet isn't actually a penalty in the line. It is open field. That is incorrect. You cannot. It's not about it being helmet to helmet. And sorry to jump in on you,
that's
Schnitzy.
fine. Go for it.
It's not about helmet contact. It's about initiating contact with your helmet or at the opponent's helmet. You can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywho, digressing a
No,
second
good
time.
point.
Cheers.
Second digression. You should take a shot of Fireball. We should get them as a sponsor.
Yeah.
I bet you Chris Walby would love Fireball to be a sponsor.
I know for a fact Chris Walby likes Fireball.
There you go. I hope I get invited to his Christmas party this year with you.
Well, we'll have to just bring it.
Could I be your wingman at his Christmas party?
Yes.
I'm part of the team. I'm
Yes.
part of the Bonfire team.
Are you driving?
My dad, yeah, sure, I'll drive. Jews don't
Sweet.
drink. Don't you know Jews don't drink?
That's not true. That's not true at all.
No,
I'm not even Jewish and I know that.
The honest to goodness reason is we can't hold our liquor. No,
No, I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
Some of us drink. I don't drink very much, so yeah, I'll drive you. If that's what it takes, I'll drive you. I'll be the DD. Absolutely.
All right.
I'll get absolutely shit-faced, but I'll be the DD. No, I'm just kidding. I don't joke about DUIs, drinking and driving. Not funny. Anyway, the Bonfire Burning Point was, I think it's pretty, you'd be hard-pressed to say it wasn't Rashid Bailey. Rashid Bailey, 68-yard TD, puts us ahead 19-13. By the way, why didn't we go for 2? It was 18-13. Don't you want to go ahead by 7 instead of 6? That's when I wonder. Like, that's the one thing O'Shea does that kind of boggles my mind. But I'm like, why not
Grinds
just go
your
for 2?
gears?
Grinds my gears. Sure, I like that.
You know what really grinds my gears?
You know what grinds my gears these days? Anyway.
Yeah. The Bonfire Burning Point, I agree with you. It was that Rashid Bailey touchdown. Changed the complexion of the game. Okay,
Won't
let's get
that
into
be one of the plays of the year, though, DB? Don't you think? Like, just in the CFL, will they do like a top 10? I think it could be a top 10 play of the year.
Gregory.
What, Gregory? I gotta know, buddy. What did you do at a synagogue? Like, what was your role? What was your vocation at a synagogue? I gotta know that. You have to answer me, Gregory, right now. Don't wait for later. Don't DM me personally later. Tell me, like, I need to know now in the next 2 minutes. What did you do at a synagogue? Yes, there's schnapps at a synagogue. There's wine for the kiddush and the blessings and all
I'm
that.
going to read this for those listening on podcast. Our good man, Gregory. I worked at a synagogue, says Gregory. There was liquor. Comment of the night.
There is like
Comment of the night.
after the Saturday morning service. My uncle used to get a bit liquored up after the service, but he'd done his time, right? He'd been praying for 2-3 hours. I mean, he deserves a drink, I suppose.
Comment says road trip in Spency's car to Elm Creek. I'm in. Yeah, let's
All
hit up
right,
Scotswood. Let's hit up Scotswood Links.
let's do it.
Absolutely. Love the live chat.
Tom
Everybody,
Halleck. That's good.
yeah, Brian Billick, right? Yeah. Oh man, that was funny. Game balls. Who do you like tonight? I mean, I'm giving one to Dru Brown right off the top. Outstanding.
Yeah, my game ball is a Dru Brown. 278, 2 touchdowns, only 3 quarters of play, 13 to 17, perfect quarterback rating, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Out duels, a backup out duels Calgary's number one by a significant margin. Like he
Out
brought
duels.
yeah, like he brought
Mm.
like if they were dueling, if they were dueling, Jake Mayer would have brought like a penknife and Dru Brown bought a bazooka. Like, let's go. He totally outdueled him.
Brought a knife,
Totally, man.
knife to a
Totally.
gunfight. Yeah.
Knife to a gunfight. Who said that again? Where's that from?
Oh my god,
That's
that's just
from
that's an old cliche.
isn't it from a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Dru Brown. But you know who I thought actually like the Bombers had 172 yards of rushing as a team, like banquet server. Okay, Gregory, he's answered the question. He was a banquet server. Okay, which synagogue, Gregory? Well, if it's at a banquet, of course there's gonna be liquor.
He'll DM you on Twitter and you guys
Yeah,
can
okay,
chat
which
about it
I
all that.
gotta know which synagogue.
Yeah.
Um, I thought the Bombers ran the ball extremely well as a team, and Johnny Augustine was a bright spot. He had over 80 yards rushing,
Yeah.
I think on 17 carries or whatever it was.
Well, hang on. Hang on. I don't know if
Pull it
he
up.
had I'll pull it up. Um yeah, that's a good one. I mean, yeah, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Augustine averaged 5.8 yards per carry. So he keeps that average of 6 plus for the season.
Yeah,
15 carries for 87 yards, and 2 runs of 10 plus as well. Brady, 36 yards on the ground, breaks 1,500, 2,000 combined. Brendan O'Leary Orange, 62 yards receiving on 2 catches. A lot of people talking about him tonight. You could probably give a game ball to Bolo, who I got firsthand confirmation that Bolo is a go for a nickname for Brendan O'Leary Orange.
well, he's okay with that.
Yeah, well, he's more than okay with it. He's happy with it.
My
So
mother-in-law was throwing that one down. She kept calling him Bolo, Bolo, Bolo. Give it to
nice.
Bolo. I
See,
loved
your
it.
mother-in-law, it's my kind of lady.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like
She
that.
knows where it's at. Shout out to Sarah. She knows where it's at.
Yeah. Beth, good to see you, Beth. Thanks for joining us
Hey,
watching
Beth.
live on YouTube. Sergio's leg gets the game ball for my
Yep.
pick.
Good
Love
pick.
that. Love everybody joining the live chat with your thoughts tonight. Stats Junkie, who I
Ooh,
follow on
nice
Twitter.
post.
Yeah, not quite a perfect rating for Dru Brown tonight, 157.1. He needed to complete at least 77.5% of his passes to get a perfect 158.3. Well, he finished 70% tonight. 77.5 is nearly in unhuman. Inhuman?
Yeah.
Inhuman?
Inhuman. Yeah,
Inhuman?
inhuman, I
No.
think. Yeah.
Inhumane? No, inhuman.
No, well, it would be inhumane to the other team.
Heavy Metal Thunder, great handle. What's going on? I'm not a metalhead anymore. I don't even think I ever was, but I enjoyed the music at times. Heavy Metal Thunder says, do you think Mike O'Shea stays in Winnipeg until he breaks Cal Murphy's all-time coaching wins record?
I don't even
Uh,
think he thinks about that, to be
no,
honest. And
no.
he will stay, but not because of that.
Well, and we haven't
He'll
even
he'll
talked about Kyle Walters.
Yeah, elephant in
Nervous.
the room.
Nervous.
Awkward. Awkward. Hey, I'm Kyle Walters. I wasn't at the press conference to extend the coach under my regime, Mike O'Shea. It was just Wade Miller and Mike O'Shea. The last time they extended Mike O'Shea, Walters was there. It was weird. They haven't extended Walters. They extended frickin' Jeremy O'Day.
And Craig
Jeremy
Reynolds.
O'Day, who's not even okay.
Well, hang on.
He's
Sask has talent. I think he's done a pretty good job. He had they had
uh,
3 good quarterbacks this year. Think about that. They had 3 good quarterbacks.
dude, they missed the playoffs. They lost 7 games in a row.
Dude, I know. Despite talent and being on their 3rd string quarterback, who I think all 3 quarterbacks played well.
Were
Having good
you
running
not
backs, having a
surprised that
incredibly talented defense. Their issue is not talent. It's not.
were
So
you
I
not
understand
surprised he got
Jeremy
a
O'Day
3-year deal?
that's what you got to do.
I don't know if you gotta do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you gotta do
Next
that.
CFL president. Well, there's no president or board of governor. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, there's a
The
board of governors, but
president.
yeah, like commissioner. No, I don't think so. Yeah, Bolo. There you go. Midgie knows what's going on, cousin Mitch. Bombing only lives once. That's true. I have more of the FOMO than the Bolo. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Rempel, the Riders will stink for another 3 years. Um, where
Bro,
was I?
Gregory
Oh,
says wrong take in capital letters, Zach.
well, yes, Gregory will always let you know.
This was totally, he says it's totally on coaching. The Riders' woes, he says. Totally on coaching. I don't know.
Yeah. Uh, am I hearing that? I mean, I'm hearing the same things you're hearing, waiters. Henry Burris, maybe to Sask. I think absolutely he wants to be a head coach. I agree with Daryl Davis, who has a great column in the Regina Leader Post today, or at least online, that Scott Milanovic should lead all of the candidates. Um, yeah, if the only Riders
Yeah.
tattoo I have on my shoulder is a Rough Riders, and I'm talking RUFF with DMX. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Well, Jesus, Darren. um,
Oh, someone's gonna
Milanovic,
clip that. Someone's gonna clip
yeah,
that.
someone's gonna clip that. Milanovic is quite familiar with Trevor Harris if they keep Trevor Harris, right?
Maybe, maybe. You never
I
know.
could, you
You never
never know.
know. But
It's
he
not gonna
was.
be Buck Pierce, folks. Buck Pierce is not leaving Winnipeg to go
Yeah,
to
people keep
Regina.
mentioning Buck Pierce's name,
He's
and I
not
understand
leaving.
why, but I don't think so. I just don't think he. Yeah, see, Waiters knows what's going on. Waiters, he knows what's up.
Waiters
Um,
always knows.
Waiters always knows. Waiters knows. Um, I mean, Buck Buck could be a head coach if he wants to be. I think he'll wait. I don't think he's in any rush. He's got a young family. They are settled here in Winnipeg. He married a Winnipeg lady. Great people. I've known his wife since way back, like we were at high school and took some university classes together. Like great people. Um, and I mean, you're the offensive coordinator with the best quarterback in the league on a team that's winning like crazy, and everyone's kind of happy and healthy. I think maybe most importantly than anything, the family is healthy, um, which is great. I just don't think he wants to uproot everything and move. Things are good right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen. I mean, I think wasn't he asked to be interviewed for Montreal's head coaching vacancy a couple of years ago and he declined and yeah, like he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he'll get
But if he
calls.
did, would they
He'll
bring
get calls.
Lapo back, Darren? Would they bring Lapo back if Buck left?
Maybe,
I
maybe.
don't know. Or does Lapo want to stay on TSN? That's a cushy gig.
He's very good at it. He's a very good OC. He's also a very good broadcaster. And he's only going to get better.
Yeah, and he's done some color commentary, which I liked
Yep. Yep.
on the
They're
TSN.
grooming him, right? And I'm like, grooming, I mean, people are like, oh, they're grooming him for that. It can mean a lot of different things. They really are trying
Grooming
to,
can certainly mean a lot of different
well,
things.
you know what I'm saying though, right? Like
I know what you're saying.
yeah, it can mean a lot of things in this context. But yeah, and Andrea Lapo to the Riders, I don't see that happening. Um Buck invested in barbecue too early. That's probably true. Uh, what
Bomber
is it that
fan.
what is it the apple honey? That's the best one. It's still available too. The barbecue sauce.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway,
Applewood smoked bacon.
well, yeah, it's apple something. Anyway, um, oh, third digression. Can you believe it? Uh,
Shot.
I totally lost my train of thought. That's how late it is. Maybe we got to wrap it up.
Probably soon. Probably
Probably
soon.
soon. Yeah.
Susan Montalvo. She has a Westwood wide to the
Lapo.
right here. DB. No, come
They're
on.
I got it. They're grooming Lapo to be color commentary on the play-by-play
Yeah.
television broadcast, to be in the studio. He can really do it all. So I think they are just allowing him to sharpen all of his tools. He's great. So for Paul Apolice, I mean, sky's the limit. Do your thing. They always say you can grow old in the booth, right? And I mean, you can grow old, um, like they used, like, if you're a sideline reporter, you don't see too many older sideline reporters, right? Unless you're Scott Oak, because Scott Oak's just the GOAT. They should call him Scott GOAT. He is incredibly good. Winnipegger, I mean, legend, all timer. Um, but they say you can grow old in the booth, so you can be like Al Michaels, or
Yeah.
and obviously I mean this in the most complimentary way. To be able to grow old in the booth, it more means like you can have a very long career in the play-by-play booth. Bob Irving, we know first and foremost here in Winnipeg firsthand how incredible his career was. 42 years calling Winnipeg Blue Bombers games, or was it 43? But like nearly 50 years, five
Mhm.
different decades he called games in. Unbelievable. So for Paul Apolice, I mean, can you grow old as a coach? Yeah. Can you grow old in that color commentary or panel role? I think to a degree, color commentary for sure. I think Paul Apolice would be outstanding, outstanding. And yes,
Yeah.
Ryan Friesen grooming a 60-year-old. That's correct. Can teach an old dog new tricks. Oh, Lapo's gonna
Yeah.
probably call me and be like, "Why do you call me an old dog?"
Well, if I'm Lapo, I mean, it's a bit of an easier life to do TV than it is to be a coach.
Yeah, your schedule is much
Oh my
less.
God.
Yeah, much
And
less
now he's done it.
demanding.
Now he's done it twice. Is he going to get another shot? I don't know. As a head coach, I don't know.
You never know. I don't think so. I think he would get tons of offers with as an OC. I agree with Waiters here because Waiters always knows. Uh, Lapo is better as a coordinator. I agree with that. Um,
What makes you say that? Because I've heard that a ton of times.
uh, I mean, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to, like, you got to be diplomatic in this, right? Like, I don't want to place judgment on somebody that I don't know. Like, I'm not in the know, but I do know that his head coaching stints have not been as successful as his offensive coordinator
Yeah,
stints.
that's fair.
So I think that's plain and simple. He's a better coordinator than a head coach because it's look at the track record.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He probably still would be a head coach if Masoli doesn't get
ugh,
injured by Garrett Marino, right?
mm, yeah, that's probably true. That is probably
Um,
true. Yeah.
sometimes you lose just based on injuries. Anyway,
Yeah. Well, hey, we did it. Regular season is over, and I'm
thank goodness.
so looking forward to the postseason here on Bonfire Sports. We will be at the Grey Cup. Schnitzy, you and I will do a postgame show. And of course, we're going to do one on November 11th in the West Final, Bombers and either Lions or Stampeders here in Winnipeg. But tons of stuff coming your way. Hockey still to come. We had a little bit of a setback. We're going to get back on track. Appreciate all you guys, your support, giving those thumbs up, subscribing, leaving reviews in your podcast app, telling your friends, sharing our episodes on social media, hitting up like check out the YouTube shorts. Those are super. So Canadian Badass. How about that for a handle? Watching live on YouTube. DB, Schnitzy, boys, man, it's good to hear your voices again. I shut down my social media. I totally forgot you are on YouTube. Yes, we are. Lots more hockey to come. Tons of football. You can check out the YouTube shorts, like just little 45, 60-second clips of, lots of hockey stuff up there, football as well. I got lots of stuff coming your way going into the Grey Cup and around the Grey Cup.
Nice.
It's going to be tons of
Nice.
fun. Yeah. But
Nice.
buckle
Can't
up,
wait. I
Schnitzy.
even I'm jumping on the Jets bandwagon. Curmudgeonly Jets fan that I am.
You're getting
I'm
turned
I you know
or
I know we
turned.
got to
You're
run
getting
here,
turned.
but you turned. Well, you made a good point to me that they're actually better, maybe better than their record indicates. They've
Well,
been
now they're
goalied a
above
couple
500.
times. I know, but they've been maybe goalied a couple times. They've outplayed
They're on a
their
heater right now.
opposition. They're on a heater.
They are.
And I like their effort this year. It looks like they have, some heart. You've turned me around. I was saying they were a heartless bunch. I think they have some heart. I even saw
Yep.
Shifley back checking.
You and I disagreed on that, and I hate to say I
You've
told you
turned me.
so.
You were right, buddy.
Yeah,
I can't say you're always right, but you're often right.
I am definitely not always right, and I
I
am
can't my wife is always right. I can't be in another relationship where the other person's always right. I just can't do it.
wifey is always right. That's the best advice anybody can take.
Happy wife, happy
It's your
life.
boy
Yeah.
Bruce. There you go. Turnt at synagogue. Oh, Schnitzy.
Been in synagogue for a long time. Probably should go back. Probably should go back.
Yeah, why not?
Pray. Pray for
Hey,
my soul.
well, hey, we're all praying for your soul, and
Thank you, buddy.
good to know that you're in good health right now. Your knee is up to
Yeah, I
on
jogged
track.
today. I
Good for
jogged
you.
outside. I even was able to traverse some ice. Shout out to you, Bruce Martell. It's great to have you on Bonfire Sports, my
Yes,
friend.
Bruce is always commenting. Love it,
Yeah,
Bruce. Thanks, buddy.
yeah. And everybody who comments, Friesen, Vicky Short, T. Kona Polly with his cap lock, Phyllis, Ryan Friesen, Canadian Badass. I think I said Friesen twice. Bomber fan, of course, Dan, the Jets fan, everybody. Love
Yeah,
you guys.
and this is pretty much DB is always right, and Schnitzy is never wrong.
All right, Dan, Jets fan. Nice. High five to you.
Yeah. Hey, thanks everybody. Appreciate you a lot. And pre-game, post-game, every game, plus lots more, always here on Bonfire Sports. We're here for you. Thank you for your help and your support and your viewership and listenership. Hit all of those buttons. We appreciate that a lot. And more than anything, tell your friends, because people are going to want to know what's going on with this team going into the West Final on November 11th. So, we're going to bring it to you here on the channel. And on that note, Schnitzy, as we always do, right around this time, have a great weekend, my friend.
Sayonara, buddy. Sayonara, everybody.